Hey guys, just wanted to give a build update video. Again, this will be my last video on closed beta test 3 for Once Human. I've pretty much done everything you can do in the game. I've run out of controllers, I've done all the side quests, I've explored everything. So I've played my worth. All I'm going to be doing is doing PvP and doing like daily farming and stuff like that. But I just wanted to give like a final build update video on the mods that I changed and some of the stuff that I learned while running this build. But this is the Jaws build. Um, as a final update, here are some of the mods: calibration 10 and 2 stars. The pinpoint strike that I got has increased tremendously with bomber damage, element, crit, and reload speed. The reload speed could change out for something like mag or status damage would be ideal. Status damage being the top tier one that you want to go for this build. But element's good, crit damage is good, unstable bomber damage is good, could be higher, but overall 4 out of 4, can't be too sad about that. For the formerly gulped lore, now known as Colossus, crit damage and unstable bomber trigger chance are going to be your top two for this one. You don't need anything else. Status damage is good, weapon damage is alright. But overall, you really want to get that trigger chance and that crit damage because of the guaranteed crit whenever you trigger. And if you have golden trigger chance plus at least one trigger chance on your mask, you'll have 100% trigger chance, and it feels really nice. For the helmet, I have Fateful Strike. I did some testing with like Deviation Expert and stuff. Deviation Expert is a close second. If it has better substats, you can definitely use that one instead. But Fateful Strike is just so good for the crit damage and crit rate that you get. It benefits both of your weapons really nicely, and just gives overall consistency to the build. This one is Golden Reload, status crit. Obviously, you want to have a like mag size is really good, or element as well. Element is currently bugged, but I'm sure it'll be fixed for live patch. But if you have element of similar tiers, like if you have 3 blue elements across your gear and weapons, it actually won't give you the benefit. It'll say that it will, but in testing, it actually doesn't increase your damage, so that's currently bugged. Reckless Bomber. This is pretty much the only mask mod that you'll need for Reckless Bomber builds. The crit damage is insane, or the damage increase that you get for stacking crit is insane because you can get up to like 51, 52, 53% crit rate. Especially if you're able to get crit rate subs on your gear on launch, it would be absolutely insane because then you can just stack as much crit rate as possible and just increase your damage tremendously. But I have element, unstable bomber, and then 2 basically dead perks. But farming masks is very hard. For chest piece, this one has changed. It's the 40% damage reduction. I do this for PvP because it helps out with burn damage a lot and helps you kind of turn fights around when you Stardust plus Activator. You have that full health, you have the shield, and you have the 40% damage reduction, so it's really nice. And this has crit rate, element, blue, which won't actually do anything because it's bugged, and healing for medicines, legendary. Deadshot, I haven't been able to farm a better one. Just luck hasn't been on my side, but Deadshot is very mandatory. In PvP, you can change this for health if you don't think you're going to be getting that many shots off, but in PvE, this is 100% necessary with crit damage, reload, and weapon damage. The status damage at 6% is not really too noticeable, but still nice. And then for the gloves, you have to run crit rate because of the fact that you can't get crit rate subs on any other mods. Until then, crit rate is 100% mandatory. And this one has mag capacity, crit rate, or crit damage, and element. Again, element is blue, so I'm not going to get it just because of how many element blues that I have. I have 3 of them. And then covered advance, this is, in my opinion, the best boots mod in the game for DPS. It just grants you so much damage, and its requirement is super easy to fulfill. So it's super consistent as well. The only thing that you have to do is you do have to pay attention to when your buff is expiring and learn how to play back a little bit, play safer until your buff is back up again. It's a lot easier for like farming runs, for example, because you don't have things like slow and steady where you have to waste activators or waste your wall like your deviant to heal up. But this one is weapon damage, healing, and crit damage as well. For the pieces, I'm running 4-piece Falcon and 1-piece Sleek Leather, 1-piece Heavy Duty. If you are playing as a sniper build, you can use the Shaman Top here instead, but since I mostly play Jaws as my primary, I have to use Sleek Leather Jacket just for the consistency and overall damage that you get. For the Cradle, I'm using Pistol Strengthen and Sniper Crit Rate Boost. Obviously, crit plus sniper damage makes it so that your Colossus is hitting a lot harder on the body shots. I'm able to hit probably about 8 to 10k depending on the player. Tactical combo, just because there really isn't anything else to run. And increasing your damage by 25% is really easy in PvE because your bombs do a shit ton of damage and it only takes, 2 to 3 bullets to proc. And if you have, 12, 13, 14, 15 bullets, it's really easy to proc this and to keep it procking with pistol strengthen, refilling your bullets. Flame resonance is mandatory. The status damage increases the explosion damage, and you can start cracking, 25k to 30k explosions in PvE, especially if you pop mystical drink, which gives you a plus 30% of status damage. So this is a 55% status damage bonus whenever you pop the mystical drink, which is fairly easy to get if you farm. Deadly combo, every build should be running this. Medicine cooldown and healing effects plus 15% is just insane. Upper hand, reloading grants you an instant 30% damage. This is really good because 10 seconds in PvE is basically you shooting an entire room. So you can shoot a bullet, reload before a boss, or shoot a bullet, reload before you need to clear a room. And you're basically just power spiking through the entire room. And most of the time, when you're chaining kills, you usually will be shooting for more than 10 seconds. So you basically can proc this at all times in PvE. In PvP, it's really good if you know that you're going to be taking a fight. This is currently bugged. I have no clue what it does. I basically just have it on here because there's nothing else to run for double unstable bomber procking. So I'm basically just running it in the hopes that it does something good. I haven't noticed any downsides, and I haven't really noticed anything else working. So just throwing it out there. Elemental sense for the blast damage, obviously. Just increasing your damage straight up for blast is just so insane. That is basically it. In order to talk about some of the questions that I got in my last few videos, Unstable Bomber requires a ton of mods. So you're going to be here a lot, Guy's Cliff. That's going to be the treant. That's going to be where you're going to find your weapon mods. You're going to find things like Decisive Strike, Eruptive Bomber, Supercharge, and Pinpoint being the best one. You want to farm for Pinpoint here first before you farm any of your gear mods. I would say that if you have a good crit rate mod, you don't really need any other mods. You can just kind of substitute mods as you go. But you definitely want Pinpoint. Pinpoint gives you a ton of damage and is like your number one priority when farming besides a crit rate mod. Second farming that I've seen is either EX1 or Psi. I believe I was farming EX1 for the longest time. This will give you your mask mods. It is the hardest to farm by far because of the fact that you're competing with every other class's mask mods as well. So the chances of you getting the mask mod that you're looking for is very low. So don't expect to see Reckless Bomber in 5 to 10 runs, but there's a chance you get lucky and there's a chance that you get a usable one. If not, you can always go to one of the vendors and buy it from, I think Severin sells it for 30 of the cubes. That's basically it. If you guys have any questions, feel free to look in the comments, see if anybody asked it before. If not, go ahead and ask it. I'll try and answer it to the best of my ability. And I hope you guys had fun on this closed beta test. I had a lot of fun. I've put 300 hours into it, and there's still 2 weeks left. So I'm definitely going to be gunning for #1 warband with adversary and seeing how it goes from there.